Alright, welcome back to Fast Gadgets. So, currently I'm on Fedora 23, and we have talked about this before in my previous videos. If you haven't seen my previous Linux videos, if you get a chance, take a look. Always curious about your opinions. But what I'd like to do today is I'd like to run Fedora 24 beta in a virtual machine. But before I get started, I just want to let you know that the host system that I'm running currently, can't really type very well, is a Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro. It is the i7 model, 13.3 inch screen. It has a 256 gigabyte SSD and 8 gigs of RAM. So that is the host system that I am running on right now. And normally I would just run the upgrade process in DNF. For those of you who don't know, Yum became DNF. DNF stands for Dandified Yum. I really haven't noticed too many differences yet, but there are some subtle differences in the command line structure, but overall it does pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to wait to upgrade the physical machine here, my Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro, until after Fedora 24 goes live. And I have some information here. There is a blogger, not sure what this fellow's name is, but the website is marksay.com, and he does talk about Fedora 24 and what it's going to offer. There's a couple of significant changes. One, Fedora 24 is going to ship with the 4.5 and 4.6 kernel. Network Manager is supposed to be updated, which is a very welcome change. And in keeping with my previous videos, it looks like on the server version, not the workstation editions, 32-bit CPU support is going to be dropped. So that's, again, server, but usually when you see a change like that, it does spell the beginning of the end for that particular technology. So I don't think it's going to be too long before 32-bit processors are dropped for Fedora workstation. There's going to be a local DNS resolver, but this was postponed. There's going to be a new spin with astronomy, specifically for astronomy. Let's see, anything else that... not really. glibc and GCC are going to be updated. Newer development tools, and probably the biggest thing is GNOME 3.2 is going to be incorporated. Currently it's on 3.18. So some significant changes. So anyway, I have downloaded Fedora Workstation, x86-64, so the 64-bit beta 1.6. And what I propose to do here, and I'm not sure how well this will work, but let's find out. Oh yeah, I don't have my 128 gigabyte installed. No big deal. But what I want to do is create a new machine. We'll call it Fedora 24 beta. Well, I've got 8 gigs available, so why not 2 gigabytes of RAM? I don't want it to bottom out. So they recommend an 8 gigabyte hard disk. I would like to change that. I do want to do the virtual disk. Let's do create. And I'm going to leave it as a VDI. And I'm going to click next. We do want it to be dynamically allocated. I'm going to increase this. I've got plenty of storage and it'll grow as needed anyway, and I highly doubt I'll ever go over 80 gigs. Matter of fact, let's just cut it to 60 gigs and call it good. So we've got this VM, and I'm going to cruise into settings here real quick. Check system, display, storage, audio network, USB. All right. Now, I always have a problem finding where to load the ISO into the virtual machine's CD drive. It always seems to become available when I launch it, which is a little bit strange. It seems easier to find once I've started it. So I'm going to start it and let's see what happens. Okay, cool. It asked me, what optical disc do you want to use? Makes sense, but let's see. Okay, I can do a folder search, and I can cruise over to my documents and insert the ISO. I'm going to click start. Now this is going to be really small, so I'm going to change the view, and I'm going to scale this up to, let's try 175, still really tiny. Let's scale it up some more. Go up to 200. All right. It gets a little better after it's installed. So I'm going to press enter. Still counting down. There we go. So this is booting the Fedora 24 beta ISO. And it's actually going to do a check of the disk. Hopefully this won't take too long. If it does, well, coffee. So I've got a new kick. I've actually cut my coffee to 50% decaf and 50% regular. First couple of days it was pretty tough, but things have gotten a little easier now. All right. So the GUI, since it is a live CD, live ISO, is launching. I was hoping it'd be a little bit faster, but it is a virtual machine. So let's just go ahead and install it to the hard drive of the virtual machine. A very familiar installation. So, of course, I want English. This is unstable pre-release software. Get me out of here. I accept my fate. I accept my fate. What's the worst that could happen? That's why we're doing it in a virtual machine. I did run Fedora 21 beta on my actual system, however, and I didn't have any problems back then. Alright, so it has automatic partitioning selected, but it wants you to confirm that you agree with this. I'm going to go ahead and let it do automatic partitioning, and for right now I'm not going to do encryption. And I'll click done. And in a second here, checking the storage config. Excuse me. Looks good. I'm going to say begin installation. And of course this is, hey, by the way, your root password isn't set. So let's give it one. It doesn't like it. It's good, but not good enough. And let's create a user. Let's make Mark an administrator. And let's give Mark a password. And we shall say done. All right. Sorry about moving the computer all over. So it's installing the software. So far, so good. The installation looks the same as, I don't know, Fedora 23, 22, and probably as far back as 21. There's been some subtle changes from Fedora 21 to this installer for 24, but honestly it looks the same as all the other installers that I've used. Not a whole lot of difference. So far so good. I'm pretty excited about 24. I'm hoping that the changes are worthwhile. And I'm going to get rid of some of these things in the background. I don't know if anybody watches English Bob. He's really good. He did a Linux distro. I'm trying to remember the name of the one he did. But it's a distro that's based on Ubuntu. And I was actually fairly impressed. You know, the whole goal really to me is to find a Linux distribution that is the most friendly for users. When I get recommendations, you know, I actually don't usually recommend Fedora necessarily. It's the one I'm most familiar with, but on the other hand, it's not really the easiest one to use. Easier than, say, Slackware, but Ubuntu-based distros are more friendly for the end user. Anyway, go check out English Bob. He just released it. I think it was today. Today being May 16th. And it was really good. Matter of fact, while we're waiting, she's a little bit slow doing that installation. We don't mind though. Here it is, Chalet OS. Anyway.
Hi everybody, English Bob here. Welcome to today's...
Not going to play the whole thing here. If you get a chance, go check it out. Chalet OS by English Bob. Recently released. Give them a thumbs up. Let them know you watched it. If you're interested in Linux, I have to say, distro-wise, very nice. Very user-friendly. It's something that I think that users would really find, especially coming from Windows, because it had a very Windows 7-like look. Something I am definitely interested in checking out. So hopefully you'll go over there and have a look. So we've got about an 88% software installation so far. Still kind of putting around. Let's check out system monitor, see how processors are running. I'm also capturing video at the same time, so I'm really tweaking the system pretty good. Network not too busy. Processors, yeah, they're really busy. Memory usage, I've got about 75% in use. It's good to have 8 gigabytes. Honestly, I really wish this system had come with 16 gigabytes. I think it probably would have been useful. Unfortunately, the memory on this Lenovo Yoga 2 is soldered on board, so I cannot upgrade the memory. But I can upgrade the onboard mSATA drive, which is 256 gigabytes, and I think I'm going to do that. I used to have this system set up as a dual boot, so I had Windows 10 on half of it and Fedora 23 on the other half. But what I found out was performance for Windows 10 really did slow down, and I became concerned that with trim enabled, that it really, with only having about 128 gigabytes and having about 100 gig in use, with that tiny small bit of space, that I was going to kill the life of my SSD. So I decided it was one operating system or the other. I wasn't really using Windows that much, so I went ahead and wiped it and put just Linux on. But if I did have a 1 terabyte SSD in this, I think I would go back to a dual boot. But for right now, everything I need I'm finding in Linux. The more I use Linux, the less I care about Windows. Although gaming is nice, but am I really going to be gaming that much on this Lenovo 2? Not really. Although as far as Windows computers go, this one's probably the most powerful one that I own. I do have a AMD 6-core processor that I use that also has an SSD in it, but it's pretty old, so not sure game-wise how good it would do. Alright, so it's sitting here at generating init RAM FS. If this takes too long, the actual install, I think what I'll do is speed up part of the video, try to get through it. Yeah, those processors are definitely being used as much as possible. I don't know if you can hear it, but the fan on this little guy is running. I think there's 2 fans on here, and it sounds like they're topped out right now. And I actually have a little bit in swap, which is somewhat surprising. Not much. Alright, install is complete. And because I'm on a live CD, I could actually quit and go back to the desktop, which I am at right here. And I'm going to go ahead and issue a reboot. So let's restart this system. Looks like it is still booting from the from the live CD. But I don't want it to do that. Alright, remove disk. Okay. We'll go back inside. Let's see if I can do... How about a reset? Much better. Make sure I'm still doing 200 scaling. All right. See if my password actually worked. Alright, so it's going to ask me to go through the GNOME initial setup, which you do kind of the same with Fedora 23. Again, language and typing. I think I will leave these on. I'm going to skip connecting my online accounts right now. And let's see what we get. First thing that comes up is help and assistance. So some basic common tasks, browse the web, and so on and so forth. Don't feel I need that. Although I am curious if I can change the screen res. So it's set with an aspect ratio of 4:3. Seems pretty limited. I think I would have to install the tools. Let's see if we can. All right. Huh. Could have swore I had the VBox guest editions, but I guess I didn't. Alright, it's downloaded. We will insert it. I've never seen this work from, well, let's find out. Wow. All right, so the guest editions are trying to install. We shall see. Okay, well, it says it did it. I need gotta have a terminal. Let's add it to favorites and we'll launch it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and reboot the system. I just want to see if I did indeed get the guest editions installed. I do wonder if the reason I'm not able to get over 1024 by 768 is because with the machine settings, I think I gave video memory the default, which is 128. No, I guess it was set for 23 megabytes. I'm willing to bet that has limited how big I can make the display. But we'll find out. We'll see if we can resize it on the fly, which we should be able to with the guest editions installed. That's really strange. Maybe the kernel's too new. Oh, no. Visuals are working. Much better. So let's check out. Whoops, sorry. I hit the Windows key because I'm so used to it, but can't do that. It will not map through. Let's have a look at settings, see if anything's changed. One of my big pet peeves was the mouse settings. Doesn't look much different in my opinion. Let's see, can we change the background? Not a whole lot different there. Let's check the kernel version. So it is on 4.5.2. I'm curious if there's any updates. I wouldn't think there would be. I would think they would release a new ISO every time, but we're going to check anyway. I don't have any of my usual repositories enabled like RPM Fusion, free and non-free. I usually have enabled and some others. And meanwhile, I'm just going to look around here. So my battery is charging. It does see the actual battery even through the virtual machine of my actual system. And It says Wi-Fi is off, so that's kind of odd. There is no mobile broadband on this. So check that out. There's a huge package update. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, you would think that the beta would basically be up to date, like they'd release a new ISO, and I just downloaded this ISO yesterday. Well, you know what? Okay, I'm just going to say yes and let it chug away. In the meantime, I'm going to have a look around, see if there's anything different with networking. Not really. So it thinks we're wired. Gigabit, huh? We wish. Identity. So both are set. Automatic DHCP. As far as my network goes, I have no printers, but my son has a printer, and I'm going to have him network his computer, but it's not on all the time. Universal access. What can we get? We can make text larger. Makes it a little bit easier to read. And then I can take the scaling down a hair and make the screen, give me more screen real estate. Poor thing. Killing it. Now, if this system were running on the hardware, and since I'm already doing updates as well, I'm not going to do this, but on my actual system here, there is a tool I really like to install, and I've talked about it in my previous videos. One is Fedora, of course, the other is the Tweak tool. And as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, in the actual system itself, if I go to the software store, if you will, let's go shopping. See if I can find the Tweak tool, and I can. So I'm going to go and install the Tweak tool. You know, I wonder if it's going to wait though, because usually with DNF you can only have one process running at a time, and we've already got this one doing the updates. Kicking butt though, it's already done the download and it has begun the installation. Now this says it's installing. If this actually does install at the same time that DNF is running, I'm going to be really happy, because with Yum before, if a Yum process was running, you could not then come over to the software and do a download. It wouldn't work. You can only do one at a time. And honestly, I haven't tested that in Fedora 23, which is also running DNF. So it looks like it actually installed the Tweak tool. Let's find out. I guess I could have just done the search right here, huh? Maybe put it in utilities. We'll type in Tweak. Yep, we got the tool. There are some things I like to do with the Tweak tool. You can see that I've got my menu up here on the left, and it's always up, which I really like. You can add extensions. And some of these are there by default, like alternate tab, or you can add more extensions. And here's the scaling set with larger text, which I already did. You can decide what happens with power. You can manage startup applications. What's going to show on the top bar. I like the date. Don't really need week numbers, but if you did like it, you could put those as well. You notice that I only have the X for exit on the Windows, so we can turn back on the maximize and minimize. And it's set for dynamic workspaces, but you could change that if you wanted to. But I do like being able to get other extensions. Let's see if it'll launch Firefox. So I'm guessing it's just done the update of Firefox. I'm going to scroll back a little bit here. Nope, too far. So I'm going to allow GNOME extensions, and I really wanted to do an allow and remember there. Allow and remember. Let's check out Firefox, find out what version is running. I always forget where they put that. Oh, I think you have to do help and then about Firefox. At least that's one way to get to it. So it is running the newest one, 46. I'm going to do a refresh here. I don't know if you can see this message. We can't detect a copy of GNOME running on the system. So I'm going to give it a refresh. And do a search for dock. The one I really like is -2 dock. All I have to do is turn it on, install the extension, have a sip of coffee while we're waiting. Let's go see how our updates are doing. LibreOffice is on the L's. Not too bad. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have tortured you guys while waiting for the updates. But you're getting entertained, right? Okay, so I have -to dock now, and I don't want to close Firefox. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not going to show up until I close it. And I don't know why I keep doing that when I can just type in the search here. Do a tweak. I have a feeling I only gave this virtual machine one processor. Let's find out. System processor. Oops. Yeah, I only gave it one CPU. It does have 100% on that one, though. Well, this is only a dual core after all. Now if I go to extensions, I have dash to dock, and I can go and check out the properties eventually. I can decide whether I want intelligent auto hide on, so when something obstructs the dock, it'll go away, and then when it does it, when the screen is moved away, the dock reappears. I can set limit and size. Show running applications. I do like, look on my actual dock here on my Fedora 23, I have the applications button at the top. I prefer it at the top, so I turn that on. These other settings I usually leave at their default. Let's have a look at appearance. I don't want to use the built-in theme. I want to use any theme I happen to apply. We can shrink the dash, make it a little bit smaller. I like opacity. I like to make it slightly opaque in the background so I can actually see. That's no opacity whatsoever, but I do like a little bit. And settings are pretty much automatically saved, so I can go ahead and close that. And you can see now also I have my other buttons. Okay, so updates have completed. Oh, we did have a problem, so it didn't. Huh. To diagnose the problem, try running rpm-va no files no digest, huh? Well, at least it kept my download packages in the cache. I suppose we might as well try the suggested commands here. I would be surprised if the RPM database was corrupted this soon. But anyway. You know what? There might be a better way to deal with this. Let's see in man if we can skip broken. I don't know if it's the same in DNF as it was in Yum. So here are our options. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come back, come back, come back. Show dupes. I don't see skip. Let's do a search. Nope. All right, well, I'm not going to make you guys sit here all that time. Well, I'll leave my terminal open for right now. I'm going to do a reboot again. And I'm going to try running DNF again. And let's see, since we're waiting, if DNF, because I honestly don't remember, if we can skip broken packages. Seems like this is a question asked a lot. There is no skip broken anymore. That's too bad. That was a great feature in Yum. We can try this. I don't know if you can see it. Setopt equals strict equals 0. Try using the latest versions of packages and transactions. There is the best command line switch. Well, anyway. I don't want you to have to sit here and watch me troubleshoot, but overall, installation-wise, things seem fine. It doesn't really surprise me that there's minor problems with Yum packages. I've seen that before in Fedora betas. There may be a package that isn't updated enough, so not really a big deal. But that is Fedora 24 straight out of the gate. Don't have too many programs installed yet. Interesting though, I think these are the ones most often used. Yeah, that's what that is. So I'm pretty sure there's some Office programs here. Yeah, Libre. Of course, I don't spell all too well. There we go. So definitely looks like an evolutionary upgrade as opposed to a revolutionary upgrade. I don't want to call it minor, but to me that's kind of what it looks like. I'm not seeing anything in here that's earth-shatteringly new. Whoops. Wrong screen. Let's grab this one. It looks pretty straightforward, kind of like my Fedora 23 install. But I will be back with another video in the future. I'll work through the update for Yum, or rather I should say DNF. And I know I should use the SU command, but well, it's my test system, what the heck. DNF -- best update. But I'll try to get the updates in and do another video and let you know how things went. Just a quick update here. Looks like the --best switch did work. Now getting the upgrades and installing any new packages that I needed. So DNF space --best and then update will indeed do your updates even if you have a couple of dependency issues in your packages. So there's 677 to install. Not going to make you sit through it. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.